Hello sewing friends, and welcome to my channel. This is Krista's Dress Shop and I am Krista, and today I just kind of did some video of a little project I did for myself. This isn't for a bride or for any kind of a customer. It's actually to make my life a little bit easier, and it is, I would say, maybe an applique vision board or a work board. I'm not sure what to call it, but basically it is made out of a velour or a velvet. Mine, I actually found some clearance fabric that's kind of like a suede, but not really. And it was just cheap fabric that works great for covering this. I like to work on a dark surface, and so I can, when I'm laying out my sleeves or any kind of a pattern like this, I can actually see it really well. And this particular board also has a pin board, a cork board on the top of it. It was just an old used pin board I had from my old shop, and then my husband put a strong board underneath it and glued it together and then cut it to size, and then I covered it. And this works great because if I'm working, say I was making these sleeves, I'd have the pattern laid out, and then I would be designing my sleeves, and you can actually pin right through it because it's a pin board. So I can pin and spots all of my appliques down. So another thing you might be working on is maybe making one of those little lace jackets, doing kind of, how are you going to do your pattern on the jacket? Like, this is the back, and these are some appliques that are just laid down. And so as I was kind of designing it, I would pin it all together on here. You also could do something like maybe hang it on a wall as kind of a vision board, so you can actually stand back and see some of your designs. I used to do like these type of boards for my jewelry in my bridal shop. Let me show you a little one. Let me step away for a second and show you the little one I made. So this one I made years ago, and it's got the little velvet, and I actually crisscrossed a ribbon so that you could put in combs and you know, just hair. I used to have hair accessories all over it. You can see how well it highlights some of my jewelry. This is a back for a bridal gown, and so that works really, really well. I used to make all of these to display in my jewelry cases, and they were so easy. This particular one just has cardboard behind it and a little bit of padding. And then I had one where I actually took a pillow that was the tubular shape, and then I put a board underneath it so it wouldn't roll, and I used to put all my headbands on that. So these things are pretty fun, and I don't often do projects for myself. I tend to be so busy with my brides. This particular board I've had around the entire time. As soon as I closed my shop in 2021, I had the extra cork board, and my husband put it together, and I've been planning on covering it forever and never got a chance to do that. So I'm finally getting around to it now that we are 2 years after closing my shop. But it was really nice, and so I filmed myself putting it together so you can see the components and how I did all of that. And maybe you might want to do something like that for yourself. Either something you can work on or something you can display things on. It has multiple functions. Even making it back into a pin board and putting some of your bride's pictures on it would be a really beautiful idea. So I'll show you how I did that. Here's the video. So I have my cork board, my pin board, and my hubby was good enough to put it together with a piece of plywood, which was so kind of him. And he just cut the plywood to fit and glued it together. And then I'm going to use this fabric here to recover it. But I'll show you a closer look at the plywood and the pin board. Here on the second side, I'm giving it a little bit of a stretch. It's important to get it nice and tight. However, I didn't want to get it too tight, so it had spots that were pulling funny. So it's that Goldilocks, happy medium, just right thing. So you just want to tighten it snugly, but not pull too tight on those. Okay, now I'm going to be doing the corners, which are a little more difficult, but you will cut each of the edges to the edge of the board. You can see me doing that here on each of those edges. And you want to leave it about a ½ inch from the corner. And then I'm cutting at an angle to get rid of the excess fabric so that they meet at an angle. Okay, here I'm going to take the excess and pinch it together, and I'll be folding that over the corner, trying to make a nice neat fold, and then staple gunning it to secure it, and later I'll cut off that excess. But right now I'm just going to check my corner and see if I like it. And now I'll just do the same with all 3 of the remaining corners to complete the first layer of this project. And now for the bottom layer. So I'm just seeing the rest of my fabric, how it will fit, and sizing it up. And I'm noticing that it's very wrinkly. I did this to the front side as well. I'm pressing it and steaming it to make sure that I don't have any lasting wrinkles, especially since this one I can only steam or press from the wrong side of the fabric. So I have the fabric on the wrong side, steaming and pressing it. So I'm trying to do the back side of this, and I was just gonna turn it around and staple gun it, but I don't really like the look of that. So I'm sitting here trying to consider what to do on the back. My I'd have to wait till my hubby gets home and see if he has some ideas of what we can do. So let me put a hold on this for a second. But the front is looking really, really good. Let me show you the front before. It's nice and tight, and gonna do great to hold some of my appliques and stuff while I'm working on them. But let's think about that overnight, what we want to do on the back side. So you're gonna laugh. I'm thinking about, because this is just for me, this is just a tool that I'm gonna use. And of course I wanted to get a little fancy, and I was thinking, well, what if I get those little nails, you know, those pretty upholstery nails, and do something like that. But I don't know that I want to spend the money on that. And then I was also thinking, when I flip it over, will the nails be scratching on the table all the time? That was my other thought. So I'm thinking about going ahead and staple gunning the edge and trying to make it in as straight a line as I can. And then, what do you think? I mean, it won't be like professional or anything, but it's just for me. I have this ribbon that says Mr. and Mrs. How perfect is that? And what if I were to just kind of glue that over? I wonder if I have enough. That's the other thing. I gotta look in my drawer. I think I've got enough of another kind. Anyways, maybe today I'll just staple it so I can use it today. And then I'll find something decorative to maybe put around. Because like I said, this is the back side. And it will be mostly just flat on a table. Or if I have customers, it'd be leaning against a wall, but it'll always be on the other side. So I just, for me, even like something a little pretty. So I think I'll just staple it for now, get it done, and then get something pretty on it. looking good. Okay, so tomorrow I think I am going to go to the fabric store and get something, an edging for that. And I think it will be black because I think it will drive me crazy if it's something different. So I'll go run and see if there's a really pretty like edging I can do on that. But this is the front anyway, so I'm ready to use it. Okay, so I just got back from Joann's and I think I found what I want to edge the back side of my board with to cover up the staples. Originally I was thinking maybe something kind of more woven or embroidered or lacy or something like that. But then I ran across this one that is just kind of like another little velvet or just similar to what I'm already doing here. And I thought, well, that will actually be good if I put it on any table or furnishings, you know, that might be wood, and I wouldn't want it to scratch because it's very soft. So I think I'm going to go ahead and glue that on the edge, and then that will finish up my project. And so that's how I put it together. It was pretty easy, pretty simple. I would say that I tried to skimp on prices to get more of this cheap, I'm not even sure it's a suede or a velour kind of a thing, but it's just an inexpensive fabric. Now I will say that as I was stretching and pulling on it and really working on it, I felt like my hands got a little bit of the black dye on them, which worries me when I'm working with customer stuff. I've wiped it all down, and maybe there's some kind of a sealant I can put on it. But if I was you, I'd stick with the more expensive, like a velvet or a velveteen or something like that. Like maybe when you're at the fabric store, rub your hands on it a bunch and make sure that it's not giving you the dyes. I have this board that I showed you at the beginning, and it's out of kind of a velvet, and it has never bled. So I would probably stick, if I had to do this a second time, I'd go ahead and spend the extra. I think the difference was this was on the clearance rack and really cheap fabric, and it was $9 a yard, where I think the velvet, the velveteen, all of those kind of things were in the $29, $35 a yard kind of range. And I just wasn't wanting to spend that. And now I kind of wish I would have gone back and done that. So just a forewarning, I'm going to figure out how to seal this, or just make sure that it doesn't. The only time it really did, like if I was just touching it and stuff, it doesn't. But I was really working with the fabric and pulling on it and stuff, and that's when it did, and it started to worry me. So just a little warning, but I hope this is something that inspired you to maybe do something for yourself. Have you done a project of your own lately? Us seamstresses tend to do for everybody else, and we forget about ourselves. And sometimes these little luxury things just make all the difference in our eyesight, in helping us out, or even making something for your home to beautify your home or your workspace. And I know this time of year we don't get a lot of chances to do that. So I hope you step out and do something for yourself this week. So anyways, until the next video, and there are more videos coming. I have a couple of them already mostly made. I'm just waiting on the bride for last minute decisions on one of them, and another one to actually come for a fitting, and then I'll have those two videos done as well. So anyways, until the next video, happy sewing. Have a wonderful day. Love you guys. And look how nice that is. I had to clean up because I have customers coming. So I just took my board and put it up against the wall, and everything is still sticking to it. So I don't have to interrupt a project that I'm working on. It's just really, really nice. They're pinned on, but also just because of the nature of the suede or velour or whatever it is, it automatically does a little sticking on its own. So pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with my little board, and I'm excited to get working on my projects this week. See you guys all later.